Hey, y'all, welcome back to episode 137 of the Late Night Vision Show. I am Hans. I'm one half of this show. Glad that you are back again on this Thursday listening to the Late Night Vision Show. This is the first and only podcast for all you night vision hog and predator hunters. We are fresh off of our episode 136 where we picked the best entry-level thermal scopes as well as the best thermal scope under $3,000. Hope you all enjoyed that video. We are back again this week of the Best Of series. We're going to be talking about the best thermal scope under $4,000. And to help do that, the owner of Outdoor Legacy Gear, Mr. Jason Robertson. How are you doing, bud?
Man, I am doing good. I'm glad to be here. I'm not going to lie. The folks, what they don't get to hear is your countdown. And this guy counted down from 10 to 1, then he stopped, then he went from 5 to 1, then he went from 3 to 1, and it was dead radio silence. And I'm like, what's going on here? So, yeah, I didn't know.
You and I had a long conversation before the show about ammo, and I've got an ammo website refreshing every 10 minutes to see if I can find some 6.5 Grendel ammo.
We were talking about ammo. And Hans had ammo on the brain. No doubt about it. So, hey,
we've got some exciting news because we have a giveaway for the American Defense Manufacturing Sightmark Wraith mounts. I know the people and listeners are anxiously awaiting to see who wins. And I know, Jason, you've got the winners right there in your hand, don't you? I don't even know who it is. He won't even tell me, folks. I think he's afraid. After the whole debacle that I caught a lot of heat for with putting out the picture of you and your daughter too soon, I caught a lot of heat for that. Man, Jason doesn't trust me with the winners of the names of the
I don't trust him. Winners. I don't trust Hans with anything. So let me tell you what this is. If you don't know what this is, I'm holding in my hands an American Defense quick detach mount for the Sightmark Wraith HD 2-power, 4-power, and the new 4K. If you haven't listened, about 2 weeks ago on the show, we announced that these mounts are now available. And if you don't know anything about it, then I guarantee you didn't win one, and you need to go over to outdoorlegacygear.com and go check these out. You can search for American Defense. You'll find these Wraith mounts. They're about $100 or so. Excellent, high-quality mounts. American Defense, one of our favorite companies in this industry, make high-end firearms, high-end mounts. That's what they're best known for in our industry because they make the mounts for a lot of night vision and thermal optics. But they were so gracious and kind that when they came out with this mount, they sent several of these, 4 of these to us to give away on the Late Night Vision Show. They wanted us to announce it and give these out, so that's exactly what we're going to do. We're going to do this quickly. So we had a bunch of entries. Thank you for everyone who went and entered that contest, and we have randomly drawn 4 people. Okay.
I don't know the total amount of entries, but there were hundreds. I'll say that.
It was a lot, exactly. And so I didn't even look at the final number. I just went in there and we did just a random drawing of 4 names. And so here's what we've got. So if your name is drawn, we will, feel free to reach out to us. But I'll be trying to dig your email address or something out of there and send you an email so we can get your address. But if you're one of these people, feel free to go onto social media, Instagram or Facebook or wherever, and send me a private message, Outdoor Legacy, and send me your address.
So more likely, the office manager Michaela will be reaching out to you at some point.
More likely. That's. I was trying to make it sound good. Yeah, more than likely. So, are you ready? Drum roll. Here are the 4 names of the American Defense Sightmark Wraith QD mount. These are the winners: Mr. Adam Benson, Mr. Chad LaJoyce. I hope I'm saying his last name right. He's a customer. I hope I'm saying that right. Chad LaJoyce, Brian Barrett, and Rich Martin. And Rich is a huge supporter of this show. He is always commenting. He is always referring people on some of the Facebook groups and stuff over to us. He is a big fan. And I'll tell you what else he is. He is a big Sightmark Wraith guy. He owns, I think, at least 2 of them. and he is Mr. Sightmark Wraith on some of these groups. He's a big help to a lot of people. So those are the 4 of y'all who won these. Congratulations. Thank you again to American Defense Manufacturing for, again, being so kind and gracious to let us give these away on the show. And we appreciate all that you do for this industry, American Defense. Bravo to you.
Yep. Congratulations to the winners. And you can reach out to us, but somebody definitely will be reaching out to you soon.
They will.
So we can get these.
And whoever gets theirs and go, hey, my box is open, that's because I'm holding it in my hand right now. Sorry about it. I'm going to put it back in the plastic, and I've got the box over here. We'll stick it in the box.
Maybe he'll autograph the box. Who knows? But hey, y'all, we got the best thermal scope under $4,000. We got a few contenders. Last week was a good contest. The winner for best entry-level thermal scope went to the Bering Optics Hogster 25 millimeter, the best thermal scope under $3,000. Also went to the Bering Optics Hogster 35 millimeter. And you know what? Bering Optics has another contender for best scope under $4,000. So Jason's going to go through and list off all the contenders for this show and for this week. And we're going to dive down deep into it. And Jason and I are, I think, going to arm wrestle for the winner because there was some heated discussion before the show. But
there was. We still haven't decided, so we'll see what he says. So, yeah.
Yeah.
And right before we started the show, Hans says, so what happens if legitimately we both don't agree on the same scope? And I said, well, that's easy. I win. Yeah, that's not hard. And I thought that was pretty logical. But so
pretty much how it went.
I want to go over these 3 scopes that we have under $4,000. And logically, some people are going to say, my gosh, there's a ton more scopes under $4,000. But we're using that. Last week it was, entry level and then under $3,000. So in reality, this is $3,000 to $4,000. I don't think we're going to choose one of the sub $3,000 scopes to beat these. I mean, I guess in someday in some realm of possibility that could happen, but not this week. It's really going to be between $3,000 and $4,000. We only have 3 scopes, and I want to go ahead and mention this up front. I know there's going to be guys, we're going to say this every week, guys that say, hey, what about my scope? What about XYZ scope? You didn't mention that. And if we did mention it, it just means that we don't think that it's a contender for one of the best scopes. Mm-hmm. It doesn't mean that anything we don't mention is junk and that if you've got it, you should, go throw it out in a pond. Doesn't at all mean that. But these are the scopes. So this week there's only going to be 3 that we feel are legitimate contenders due to price, popularity, features, image quality, build quality, all these things. These are our picks. And if you don't like them, start a podcast and you can choose your own. But that sounds bad. But no, these are our picks. All right. First, we're going to go by price, starting with the least expensive first. As Hans mentioned, it is the Super Hogster from Bering Optics. This unit is hot right now. There is, we'll talk a little bit more about it in some details about what we like about each of these scopes, but this is a super popular scope. It's coming in at $3,120. It is a 3-power base magnification. It's got a 384 by 288 resolution sensor at 12 microns. It is, it's got internal video recording, but it has no audio recording. It does have a smartphone app that currently only works for Android phones. It's got a pre-attached quick detach mount already on it. It uses 2 CR123A batteries. It also will allow for a standard USB external battery pack. It has a picture-in-picture function. It's got a horizontal field of view at 100 yards of about 42 foot, and it's got a 4-year warranty. All right, next is going to be the Pulsar Thermion XQ38. Again, this is a new scope for this year. All 3 of these scopes we're going to mention are new for this year. The Hogster has not been on the market very long at all, and both the Thermion XQ38 and the XQ50 were announced early in the year, but they did not start shipping until this summer. So none of them have been around, all year long. The XQ38, it is $3,299, $3,299. It is a 2.5 power base magnification. It's 384 by 288 at 17 microns. It has video and audio recording. It has a smartphone app that works with iPhones and with Androids. It has a 2 battery pack system. So it has one battery that is non-removable but is rechargeable, and it also has a removable rechargeable battery pack. It has picture-in-picture. It comes with no mount, so you need any standard 30 millimeter rings or a 30 millimeter single piece, ring mount. It has a 3-year warranty, and it's got a 56-foot wide horizontal field of view at 100 yards. Now, I'm going to save us a little bit of time here, and we're going to go to the XQ50 Thermion. It's $3,799, and I'm going to tell you a couple important things. So $3,799. It is a 3.5 power base magnification with a 42-foot wide field of view at 100 yards. Everything else, everything else that I just named on the XQ38, the resolution, all the features, all of that is 100% the same. So this is something that we can clear up right now. A lot of questions about this, but the XQ38 and the XQ50, the only difference in the two is that the XQ38 has a 2.5 power base magnification, a 32 millimeter objective lens with a wider 56-foot wide horizontal field of view at 100 yards. The XQ50, $500 more, $3,799, 3.5 power base magnification, 42 millimeter objective lens, and a 42-foot horizontal field of view at 100 yards. So a lot of people get confused. They think the larger objective lens means it's going to have a wider field of view, but it does not. So those are the 3 contenders in order of least expensive to most expensive in this category. So with that said, what I think we ought to do, I think we ought to go each one of these, briefly talk about them. We've reviewed all 3 of these scopes on the podcast. Go back to our past episodes if you're really interested to hear on any one or all of these, our in-depth reviews. But I think we ought to just quickly go over kind of our likes, maybe our dislikes on each one, and see what you think about them. So let's start with that Super Hogster. Hans, I know this thing's made a lot of waves this fall. What do you think about it?
We were talking before the show, and the majority of the calls that are coming into Outdoor Legacy right now, people asking about the Super Hogster in high demand as far as with buzz, and people wanting to know more, people wanting to buy it. And the majority of the calls that are coming in, like we said, are about the Super Hogster. It is the hottest thing going, one of the hottest things going right now. There are several, but when the unit came into the market this year, we talked about in the past, Bering Optics does not have any or hardly any social media presence. There was no huge rollout. This was normal everyday hunters that were hitting the forums and talking about how great this optic was. We got our hands on one, tested it out, and we were immediately blown away by how good the picture image was. The 3 things that I really like. I'll talk about what I like first. Obviously, the price point, $3,120. It's a good price point for the quality optic that you're going to get. The overall size of the Super Hogster, lightweight, small in dimension and size. A lot of people are taking it off and being able to use it as a monocular. There's not a lot of people that hunt as much as you and I do, Jason. So people like to have it off their rifle a lot of times just to look around the yard or look in the neighborhood or take it camping with them or whatever. But also, be able to slap it on the rifle because it has the QD mount and not have to re-zero the scope. So it is the size of some of the monoculars that are on the market, and with very, very good picture image. The last thing we talked about, and then one of the big likes, is how good the picture image is. It is, it almost, the sharpness, the contrast on the base magnification seem to be really good. The firmware that they have on there, the software on there seems to be really, really crisp. Very good picture image. There's a lot to like about this unit, and it really has put. This is one of the hardest decisions of all the categories we have, is this best under 4,000, because there's a lot of quality features that are involved in here. The Super Hogster does have internal video recording, like we talked about. It does not record audio; it only records video. It does have the multiple color palettes, multiple reticles to choose from. It doesn't have as many color palettes as the Pulsar. Doesn't have as many reticles to choose from as the Pulsar. If you care about that kind of stuff, I don't particularly care about the number of color palettes that a scope has, but some people do. And it does. It runs off of two CR123 batteries, which some people may see as a negative, but there's a lot of people out there, Jason, and you know this, that see that as a positive. They can stockpile all of these CR123 batteries, and they don't ever have to worry about an internal battery going out or sending a scope back or having to, purchase a proprietary battery on down the road. And, there's a lot of people that are now in the market for thermal scopes, not just for hunting, but for preparedness. And having a scope that runs off, batteries that they can stockpile is a very attractive feature to them. So those are, the majority of my likes amongst some other small things, but those are the big ones that I really has moved the Super Hogster up to close to, one of our favorite optics that we've been pushing here lately.
I think that I love how you just teed that up. You gave the greatest, 3 to 4 minute review of the scope, and then because we need to bring out the negatives of any of these scopes, you're going to make me bring out all the negatives while you talked about all the positives. I want to say one quick thing, and I don't want to go down a rabbit trail that I am known for doing, but you mentioned the battery thing, and it's so funny. On one of our reviews the other day, I think it was last week, a comment was, why does any scope still take CR123As? And then at the same time, there was a discussion on one of the hunting forums, on one of the optic groups there, about battery packs. And there was a lot of people that said, good gracious, I never want a scope that's got a proprietary battery. And there's other people, right. I never want one that does. So it's definitely, but what I can tell you this, the vast majority of people do like is, even if it's a proprietary battery, people want a battery pack where they can get some hours out of it. They want to get more than a couple hours. So, all right. Now, I'm going to quickly listen. Everything Hans said is true, but there are a couple small complaints that we've already brought up about the Super Hogster, and this is what we do, folks. This is, I think you've got to understand, when we nitpick things, that's what we're here to do. It doesn't mean we don't like the scope. It doesn't mean that we don't like the manufacturer. We're just here to try to honestly nitpick some things and the things that we see as deficiencies. And so far, nobody has ever built a perfect scope. When they do, I'll probably retire. I mean, there'll just be nothing else to do. We definitely won't have the late night vision show anymore. But if I had to pick this scope apart a little bit, it's going to be two things. I do not personally like the menu function as well. I think that getting into the advanced menu, the text is very, very small. I've got good eyes, don't wear glasses, and to be honest, I can't read it all very well. I don't think that the zeroing function is as easy as the Pulsars are. I also think that the 3-button layout, again, this is something I've kind of harped on. I think it's a little more difficult because each button has, I think, just too many functions. So I think it makes it a little more difficult to use. But let me say, Hans, every time I bring this up, Hans is like, that's not that big of a deal. He's right. We have sold a bunch of 25, 35, and Super Hogsters. I do mean a lot. And nobody's calling me and telling me they can't figure out the menus. You know, I mean, people, I don't want it to, it's not enough to not buy it. But if we're here to nitpick and pick what we think is the best and pick these apart, I do have, I do think that's my hang up. So moving along, I think you laid that out well. I want to talk about the XQ38. I said this when the XQ38 was announced in January of 2020 at the SHOT Show in Vegas, and this was an easy prediction. I said this is the #1 selling thermal rifle scope in the country for 2020, and it doesn't exist yet. And that's been exactly true. That it's just the back order list and the wait for this thing has been insane all year while Pulsar was getting it out. It's still back ordered now. I mean, these things are, if somebody's got one on the shelf, I don't know why. I mean, they're a diamond in the rough. People want them, and they're very hard to get. I like the 2.5 power base magnification. I think this is a little more of an all-around good magnification. I think for hog hunters that are hunting up close, the 2.5 is better. Now, granted, if all you're doing is hunting coyotes or predators, you're probably going to like the 3 a little better. But with the 2.5, I think it does a little bit better of both. I think that you can still kill coyotes. You can zoom up one time and have 5 power, which is absolutely going to let you get out there with this scope and shoot a couple hundred yards if you need to. But if you're hunting in tighter areas, or maybe you're hunting hogs over feeders, maybe you're hunting coyotes or predators over like bait piles, dead animals, that kind of thing, and you're getting them in close. It stands out as having a wider field of view. It's got a 25% wider field of view than the XQ50 or the Super Hogster. So I really, really like this scope. Talking about some of the features, and again, this is just going to match on the XQ50, but I do like the audio with the video recording. Back to the batteries. I like the removable rechargeable battery pack. I understand it does have one internal battery as well, but getting realistically in the field 5 hours out of this unit when you're in temperatures above 40, 50 degrees is very reasonable. You throw an extra battery in, you're getting a couple extra hours. You could still use an external USB battery pack just like the Hogster if you wanted to. That is an option. I do like, it's got a lot more reticle options. It's got a lot more color options for the reticles. I know if anybody listens much, they know that I really like the different color reticles, and I just think the options are a little better there. Overall, I think this unit, the Thermion in general, is just a little bit of a more polished, refined, it's a European optic. And I know people that talk to me on the phone hear me say that over and over, and I go, it's a European optic. That's a big deal. Europeans are known for quality, and I think this unit really shines in what, Pulsar is known for. So I'm going to let you talk, Hans. I'm going to say one more thing, and I'm going to wrap this and let you, put a bow on it. But I would say if there's anything that I really maybe don't like about it, it doesn't, these aren't big deals that really bother me, but I do wish that it didn't have that internal battery. Now, I don't want to take it out and not have the battery at all. I wish that we could take it out, though. I wish it was like just some magic way to get that battery and swap it as well. I don't think anybody, including the manufacturers, desire an internal non-removable battery. So I don't like that. I mean, if I could change that, I would. I think that, it doesn't bother me, but it is a longer scope. It looks like a daytime scope. I think it looks slick on a rifle. I think that it's nice that you can set the thing, put it on a rifle and set it over to the side, and somebody can walk by it and not even really pay attention that it's not a daytime scope. I know some people don't like that. I know some people like this smaller, lighter design of like the Hogster, as you mentioned. So I think, you might give that as a knock against it. But otherwise, I mean, I don't know of a lot of negative things. Can you think of anything I'm leaving out there, Hans?
No, you spoke about the battery, and we still get people to this day that call and lament the days of when they had the trail removable batteries and the battery life with that, and now with the change with the Thermions and the two batteries, one internal, one external. That's the only negative that you and I have talked about. Both of these, or all three of these scopes, are great contenders in this price range, the $3,000 to $4,000 price range. The competition is very stiff. Obviously, there's two manufacturers, three different scopes. I'm proud of the fact that we are a year ago when we were doing these awards. Nobody had ever, I say nobody, not many people had known of Bering Optics, and associated that with thermal scopes. We weren't talking about it. Nobody was talking about it. The Hogsters weren't out, and now a year later, we have a manufacturer with three different scopes that are in contention for the best thermal scopes in their category. That just tells you how much things can change in 1 year. Mm-hmm. It gives us hope and something to look forward to for, when we do these awards at the end of 2021 and what, if anybody knows, is going to come out and be as good or maybe even better. And, everybody talks about the prices coming down, but if the prices stay steady and the quality continues to go up, then that's almost just as good. So, we need to step back a little bit and think, man, it's come a long way in a year. And the fact, that we've got a whole new manufacturer with three different models in contention and three different very quality models at very, very good prices. So
and I want to say one thing.
Kudos to Bering Optics.
I want to say one thing about that, and I know you were implying that, and I want to be clear to people that don't know. Bering is not new. Bering's been around for 10 or 15 years, selling some night vision. They've had some thermal optics, but they haven't had anything that has been a popular optic, thermal optic on the market and then these Hogsters came up and they just hit a grand slam. So sometimes you've got companies that are out there that are kind of sleepers. They're there, they're making their way, they're doing their thing. And it's not even just this industry, any industry. And then boom, people go, oh, they're brand new. Well, they're not brand new. They've been there. You just didn't know it, but they just came out and, knocked everybody's socks off. But now, with that said, we do need to talk about the XQ50, and we don't have to talk about this super long because, again, it is an XQ38. It's the same scope, a little more magnification. This is definitely 3.5 power, $37.99. This has been one of the go-to scopes. I would say it's probably been the go-to scope this year for coyote hunters. It's been out, available in the U.S. longer than the other two, the Hogster, Super Hogster and the XQ38. It started shipping before the XQ38. This has been the coyote hunter scope, and to be honest with you, it's still going to be. I mean, I just think, overall, I do know some coyote hunters that buy the XQ38, and sometimes it just comes down to sometimes budget. It's like, man, you know what? If I can save the $500 and squeeze this one in and make it work, which they can. But I do think the XQ50, I think it's easy for us to kind of gloss over it because we've already talked so much about the 38. I think our likes and dislikes are going to be the same, but I want to point something out about it. While the 3.5 power is more than I need for hunting hogs, most of what I do, I say that about the XG50. I don't have to have the 3 power. I mean, I like it. There's some instances where I do. There's sometimes I wish it was a little bit less on that scope. But this scope, the 3.5 power, it's definitely more than I need. But your right-hand man, hunting buddy, sidekick that's with you multiple nights a week shooting hogs at 30, 40 yards, he gets to see everything that you hunt with. So he's one of the few people I would say in the country that's not a dealer that just gets to touch and hold all this stuff. He is. Yeah. I mean, he gets to go with you, and so he chose the he chose the XQ50 out of all of his options of what he had seen. And this is for, I mean, I know y'all kill a lot of coyotes too, but y'all do a lot of close range hog calling and stalking on hogs.
It's, he's got that 3.5 power XQ50, and you're right. We do these days. We do just as much coyote hunting as we do hog hunting. He goes out to. He's got a deer lease in West Texas, wide open fields. Lots of coyotes, lots of longer range shots. We called in a boar a few nights ago, and it ran up into 15 yards, and we dropped a boar at 15 yards. But I will, I do like the XG50, that 3-power. I've grown to like, I've forever hunted with the Trail XP50, which was a 2-power, and thought, why would you ever need any more magnification? But man, now that I've got the XG at 3-power, I love it, because I do just as much coyote hunting and coyote calling as I do hog stalking and hog calling. And to me, the 2.5, the 3 to 3.5 are really your crossover magnifications, where you can do just about anything. Now, if you're hunting with a 3.5 power XQ50 on hogs, instead of stalking up to 40 yards, maybe stalk up to 60 yards. Scoot back a little bit. You don't have to get quite as close. But I don't see it as, if you're a hog hunter and you think, man, I want to hunt coyotes too, and we've got some potential for some long shots. The XG or the XQ50 is something that you're going to be able to do everything with, just like the other scopes that we've talked about. We've got a good range. We've got the XQ38 at 2.5 power, the Super Hogster at 3 power, and the XQ50 at 3.5 power. Right there in this same category, and it kind of covers the broad spectrum of the types of different hunting that is out there. But you're exactly right. The most, the people that are doing 100% coyote hunting, like all you guys up in the, the Midwest, the Northeast, Northwest, that are only doing coyote hunting because there's no hogs, they want that XQ50, and they've got, the vast majority of their shots are well over 100 yards, almost all the time. So they're going to gravitate to that. But it is something that, you can use in all hunting applications and be successful with.
Okay, so
that was a long answer, but
that was
just to say yes, it's good.
I don't even know what the question was, but it was a good answer. No, so and I feel like we're kind of, somebody's listening to this going to say, man, y'all glossed over the XQ50.
Everybody wants to know who the winner is.
But I don't think we're glossing over the XQ50. I think they're just, we can't go over, I mean, the specs are basically the same thing.
It's pretty much the same.
It's the same scope. Put them in a bag, shake them up, you can't tell the difference. So, all right, I'll put you on the spot since I'm the one talking. I mean, you choose these 3 scopes. I mean, again, and I want to say one thing here before I'm going to interrupt him before I let him talk.
I was about to say
that we're going to do this every time, but this is tough because you go, what's the best one? Well, if you called me today and you said, hey, Jason, Super Hogster, XQ38, XQ50, which one's the best? I'll never answer that question. I'm going to say, tell me what you're doing. What's your budget? Where are you hunting at? How far are you shooting? So I want to be clear. Anybody that knows Hans and I, we are not the kind of like, oh, this is the scope. No, what are you doing? What's your application? These are all tools. But at the same time, there comes at some point you have to say, okay, we're going to broad brush, general pick, an overall scope. And it may be the absolute worst scope in the pick for you, but overall popularity, what we think is a good design, a good value for the dollar, features, quality of build, all these things that we like, it's our overall pick. So with my caveats in place, what is your pick?
So
I really don't know what he's going to choose here. This is going to be interesting.
Yeah. I'm going to say this for the same reason that you and I chose the Bering Optics Hogsters last week for the best entry level scope and the best thermal scope under $3,000. The same reason that we chose the Bering Optics Hogsters in those categories is going to be the same reason that I'm going to pick the Pulsar brand this week.
What were those reasons?
The quality of the optic and the value, not necessarily the price, not the cheapest, but the value of what you get and the quality of the optics. So that's why I'm going with the Pulsar brand in this category. Again, for the same reason we went with the Bering Optics last week. That's the way I'm talking myself into it. So to me, it's between the XQ38 and the XQ50. I was leaning towards the XQ50. But I talked to my old buddy Jason, and we talked about it. And I think he makes some good points. I'll let you reiterate that after I say this. But the XQ38, for the price of $3,300 and at the base magnification to 2.5 power, it is a more versatile scope. Whereas if you're hunting hogs in the south, if you're coyote hunting up north, you can still use this scope and be effective. Although you can do the same with XQ50, the 2.5 power, I think, makes it more adaptable to people down here. So I'm going to go with the XQ38 for those reasons: the value, all the features that it's included in that you don't necessarily get with the Super Hogster, and the price point and the base magnification. So that's my choice. You talked me into it, so I may have given away your choice.
No, that is my choice. I didn't want to talk you into it. I would say one thing. I'm going to differ with him a little bit. He said that he would say between the XQ38 and the XQ50. I think if you forced me to pick, what's my runner-up, I think I would pick the Super Hogster as my runner-up, and my reasoning is, I think it does come down there to the value and what you're getting for the image quality. I mean, my first pick is going to be the XQ38. It's like I said, in January. This is going to be the best-selling thermal rifle scope on the market. The Pulsar Trail XQ38 that this replaced was the best-selling thermal rifle scope. It's a price point that it's hitting, and you're right. It's all this quality. It's all these things that we've come to, and I say we as an industry of night hunters have come to know and love and trust in the Pulsar brand. So I do choose the XQ38. I think that the Super Hogster is a very close second. I think if the functionality of the Super Hogster was different, meaning the button layout and those things, my little nitpicking things, if I think they were different, I might get forced into picking it. I don't know. It would be a lot harder there, but I'm going to go with the XQ38 as well. I just think overall it's and let me say too, Super Hogster came into this party a little bit late, so I feel like it may not be quite fair to it. I mean, we have had list of people with deposits waiting on these XQ38s. For months. Right. And I mean, it got so bad at one point that I cut off taking further orders. And it's funny, one of your buddies just got an XQ38 from us, and Hans's comment before the show, we were randomly talking, is he was like, man, he has been waiting forever to get that thing. And he has. He got on at a bad time, and so we got him a scope. The lists are getting shorter now, but he did. He got on kind of at the height of it, but he's been a trooper. So, I would say best thermal scope of 2020 under $4,000 is going to be the Pulsar Thermion XQ38 for $3,299.
Congratulations to the Pulsar Thermion XQ38. You're the winner of the best thermal scope under $4,000. And if you want to purchase any of the three scopes that we talked about today, you can get on the website. The best way to order, y'all, or back order, is to get on the website and do it. OutdoorLegacyGear.com. You can do it. Probably one of the best websites in the industry, and I'm not biased because I get on everybody. I'm on all types of hunting websites all times during the day. So very easy website to navigate. The search engine on it's great. So y'all check it out, OutdoorLegacyGear.com. The phone number to talk to Jason or Michaela or even myself, 877-350-1818. And I want, again, kudos to Bering Optics Hogster. A year ago, most people had never even heard of them. And again, this is their third scope in contention for the best of 2020. Great job to them, and congratulations to Pulsar for their XQ38 and their XQ50 as well. So if you are looking to find out more information, I've already mentioned the website, but you can find all of the past episodes of the Late Night Vision Show on our website, thelatenightvision.com. You can also check out Jason on Facebook at Outdoor Legacy Gear, also on Instagram and YouTube. If you want to check me out, you can check me out on YouTube. It's Hans ETX, Hans ETX. I'm about to put out my first hunts with the Super Hogster and my review. That will be coming out this week. So go check that out over on the YouTube channel. You can also find me on Instagram, posting pictures and videos daily just about. And appreciate y'all going over there and following me there. I am very excited about a lot of shows that we have coming up. We've got some exciting things to mention, possibly another giveaway. Don't want to give away too much information, but possibly. So stay tuned for that. And we're going to continue on with our Best Of series all the way up until we get into the best high-end thermal. So we still got 2 or 3 more weeks of those lined up here to go.
Yes. And folks, I'm going to go ahead and say this real quick. We have got, we're already getting hands-on on some optics that will be coming out in 2021. And I'm going to tell you something. 2021 is going to be huge for what's going to happen in the thermal industry. And I think that there's going to be, big stuff. I think so. I think there's going to be big stuff on the top with what Envision is doing. With the Nox. We've already got a Nox in our hands. We're going to be talking about that very soon.
Excited about talking about that.
Absolutely. I think there's going to be stuff. I think there's going to be new brands coming up in the middle. Maybe on the high end too. I think there's going to be stuff coming on the lower end. I just think 2021 is going to be a super busy, good year for this industry, and I'm excited about it. So, and one more thing, Hans was mentioning some shows. Just so you know, I think that the next show we're planning on doing the continuing our Best Of series, just like we did last year. I think we'll do the Best Of thermal rifle scopes under $6,000. So we're going to be moving up. This is going to be basically everything in that, $4,000 to $6,000 range. So we're going to be bringing in those contenders there. And definitely. So folks, listen, we appreciate y'all coming back, and you know where to find Outdoor Legacy. You know where to find Hans. You've already found the Late Night Vision Show, so please like, subscribe, all those things. We hope to see you again next week on more of our Best Of series. And thanks again for all your support. We really do appreciate it. And between now and then, stay safe in the fields and keep making those bacon pancakes.